What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to another episode of Double Dribble and another episode of our 2022 NBA Draft Player Breakdown series. In today's video, we have a great breakdown of a player that has absolutely flown up the draft boards late into the college season. That player is Jeremy Sochan. He is a freshman from Baylor. He's 6'9", 230-pound, kind of small forward, power forward. He's from Guymon, Oklahoma, and played at La Lumiere in high school. And like I said, he's a player that has absolutely flew up draft boards as the season progressed, and especially late into the season. He's a type of player that has got a lot of comparisons to a player of like Kyle Kuzma from the NBA. In his freshman year with Baylor, he averaged 9.2 points per game, 6.4 rebounds per game, 1.8 assists. He also averaged 1.3 steals per game and 0.7 blocks. He shot 47.4% from the field, 58.5% from two, and then 29.6% from three on 2.7 attempts per game. He did only shoot 58.9% from the free throw line and also averaged 1.6 turnovers per game to go along with his 1.8 assists. Jeremy Sochan is a prospect that has a tremendous upside and has the perfect physical abilities to play in the modern NBA. But there are some things that he's going to need to improve on. So let's go ahead and talk about some of his strengths. So like I mentioned at the beginning, Jeremy Sochan absolutely flew up draft boards in the recent weeks and the end of the college basketball season. A lot of this had to do because of his rare physical traits and then his perceived versatility and tremendous upside. So he has the perfect length and build for the modern forward position in the NBA. He's got great athletic and verticality to cover every position. He can pretty much guard a 1 through 4 for sure. He can guard 5s a little bit if he gets switched out. I wouldn't say he would be great, obviously, guarding a 5 because he's not a 5. But really, he's got a tremendous motor. He's always seeming to be all over the floor, whether it be going for offense, rebounds, digging in the post, getting steals, you name it. It just seems like when you watched him, especially late in the season, in March Madness and things like that, he was just everywhere, all over the floor, has a high motor, he's got really good length, and he's got really good agility, and then also the vertical ability. So that makes his strengths on the defensive side at the NBA is that he can really be a defensive chess piece. So he can be used to swarm smaller guards and use his length to really disrupt their vision, their playmaking ability, and things like that. But then he also can be used as kind of a weak side rim protector, someone that guards a player that can't really shoot and is helping out and contesting shots at the rim and just making plays really out on the floor. But on the offensive side of things, he does have an extremely raw skill set right now in terms of basketball skills. But he will only be 19 on draft day, and with his athleticism and his youth, it points to someone that will have a extremely high ceiling if he can, continue to progress and improve on his skills. At Baylor, he really became more of a consistent weapon as the season went on. There were some injuries, and he got more playing time and got more opportunities. He averaged 12.25 points per game over his last 8 games and scored 17 twice over that stretch. He's also a really good rebounder and offensive rebounder at his size and at his position. He did show some kind of self-creation and getting shots and getting buckets for himself, but he's not a great creator in that sense yet. But I think he's got the ability to do that. He has the length, strength, and burst to attack the rim and generate scoring chances at the rim. He draws a lot of fouls. Unfortunately, he's not a great free throw shooter. But he did, get to the rim and draw a lot of fouls in that sense. But really, the biggest strength of his is just his rare, like I said, physical traits and his versatility. And he's probably one of the best defenders in his class. At that size in this draft class, one of the best defenders, and has the extreme versatility on that side of the floor. And all he just really has to do is develop his offensive side of the ball. And I think that he'd be a great pick for a lot of NBA teams. So I think come draft day and as the draft gets closer, a lot of people will be kind of wondering why he's projected to be a lottery pick. Because in college he was not very efficient on the offense side of the ball. He just shot 47% from the floor, 30% from the three, and 60% from the free throw line. People at this kind of spot in the draft, you usually have better numbers than that after playing in college and their numbers from college. So he needs to really see a dramatic increase in those numbers to be useful on the offense side of the ball once he gets in the NBA and to be able to stick in the NBA. He can really struggle with turnovers. He tries to create too much sometimes, and he can get sped up and turn the ball over a little too much. There's 5 games this season where he had 4 turnovers in a single game. And I talked about one of his biggest strengths is on the defensive side of the ball and how he can guard so many positions and be just a player that's all over the floor. But he can get in foul trouble a lot of times and fouls people driving the hoop too much instead of just going straight up. I mean, he's got a 7-foot wingspan with a 6'9", 230-pound frame. He needs to learn to just go straight up more, make him shoot a tough layup or a tough contested shot. If they make it, that's whatever, but just use his length and his size to just kind of deter shots instead of trying to block them and fouling. Obviously, I kind of touched on he's got poor offensive advanced stats right now, I guess you could say. He's got an extremely raw skill set, but he does not shoot the ball great. He needs to improve on that for sure. And just really polish up his skills and figure out what he needs to do on the offensive side of the ball to stick in the NBA, because he has what it takes on the defensive side of the ball, where he could be an extremely useful piece for an NBA team. But he does need to work on his skill set on the offensive side of the ball. But I mean, he's got elite athletic ability, where he could become a player that just kind of scores at the rim, where he doesn't shoot a whole lot. But he definitely needs to work on kind of knowing when to block shots and when not to on the defense side of the ball, and then really just a lot on the offensive side. He needs to just polish up all his skills, work on his jump shot so he can get a reliable 3-point shot, work on his free throws as well, and just become a more efficient player on the offensive side of the ball. So in conclusion, I really like Jeremy Sochan. I think he has the ability to be, kind of really underrated pick in this year's NBA draft. If he can figure out the offensive side of the ball, he's got, like I said, all the makings to be an extremely, extremely elite defender at the NBA level. I really love how he plays with the high motor all the time. Like I said, it always seems like he's all over the floor. And making every single play that needs to be made, especially on the defensive side of the ball, getting offensive rebounds, getting clutch defensive rebounds, and like I said, I think he's got the ability to be, a really elite defender, and just needs to work on his offensive side of the ball, a little bit as he comes to the NBA. And I think that'll take a year or two to really polish that up and refine those skills. But like I said, he's super young. He's got some time. Hopefully he lands with a team that allows him to develop those skills and really work with him and give him the confidence, to be a good offensive player as well as an elite defensive player. But I want to hear from all you guys in the comment section down below. Leave your thoughts on Jeremy Sochan. Do you think he should be a lottery pick, or is he someone that should be taken later in the first round? Leave all that in the comment section down below. Like always, make sure to hit the like button on this video. Hit the subscribe button, join the channel. Make sure you share this with your friend, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.